I feel like that's so anticlimactic. I hate it. Anyway, shout out to everybody here for the Big at 11 college football kickoff show. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button. Obviously, it helps with the algorithm and all that good stuff. Make sure you check out all of our channels. Johnny's not here with us today, but make sure you go over to Johnny Olden Jr., say what's up to him, and obviously subscribe. Make sure you check us out at Back of the Bus for discussions about the culture and current events. All right, we're here. It's the game, the big rivalry game between Ohio State and Michigan. So excited for it. So ready for it. You look ready for it, but you don't look ready for it.
I'm always ready. You know who I am. Okay, so this game, whether we were dominating the series or whether or not we were in the doldrums, is a big time of the year, regardless.
Sure, for sure.
And I know well enough not to count either side out, regardless of records. So yeah, I'm hype. I am took a shot to the heart this morning when we got the official injury list. So no Will, no Colston.
No Colston. Yep.
It's all good, or at least it is what it is at this point. I'm hoping that creates a bit of a effort mentality. I don't know if we're deep enough into the stream for me to cuss yet, but yeah, just and forget it type of attitude. And just they let it loose, which I keep having to remind myself, man, this game has never and will never be won on the outside. The team that dominates the line of scrimmage, offensive, defensive lines of scrimmage, will win this game. And in that case, when you boil it down to that, it doesn't seem so unsurmountable. So, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to line it up. I'm ready to see what's going on.
I'm glad. It seems like you're very hopeful. You're absolutely right. It's probably not going to be one on the outside, but we've got benefits on both the inside and outside. Besides our offensive line. So.
Okay, I would say that is the inside we're talking about, right? That's it. Sure. That's the inside we're talking about.
Sure. We'll see how this Frankenstein offensive line holds up. So
yeah. No, it's gonna be the tail of the game, to be honest with you. If they're able to pull it together and put together a great performance versus our defensive line, good night, And if we're able to get pressure, I think the longer we're in the game, the more nervous some on that sideline are going to become to be. So it's a very interesting give and take. I don't think it's just going to be, they ain't got Will Johnson, so we're going to come out and throw for 400 yards. That I don't believe.
No, that's factual.
If it goes like that, shit. Ooh, gut check time for sure.
I'm more upset that you stopped on the comment that says Josh's heart rate must be super high right now. It's been 4 years. You just stopped.
More embarrassing for them when they beat them with our two best players. Hey, listen, I'm
hopeful.
I'm with it. I'm with that energy, right? I've never been one to concede a loss at anything, so I'm not laying down taking it. I'm going out kicking and screaming. However, I'm going. So yeah, I'm hoping we can press the advantages, however less they might be, and take advantage of it. We got a dose of what could be last night. If you were watching to the wee hours of the night with Georgia Tech, they just didn't finish it, but they had no reason being up 14 with 4 minutes left
Tech,
to go.
What the hell, Tech?
Yeah, I was
sure Haynes King was going to have this moment where he just got it all together and won the game, but
yeah, that play calling killed him at the end of that. They got to stop on Carson Beck when he went for the a QB sneak or QB power, got stuffed, and then they tried their own version of it. I'm like, no, run the ball. You only need a yard. You got to play the pass interference.
Made me so
you're on the
mad.
1.5 yard line. Hand it off to the running back. Get in there. Nah, we're going to do all this fancy stuff and try to run the court. Nah, man. They're not going for it.
You got multiple running backs who have been doing well all game.
Georgia gets the ball back, and guess what they do? Put the ball in the back's hand and touchdown. Game over. Shouldn't even have took 8 overtimes, to be honest with you.
I thought for sure something was going to happen with his arm. He was moving it around a lot after he got hit, and yeah, I don't know. I was so upset about that game.
Yeah,
I thought for sure Georgia was going down.
But the even the Lakers had a near victory snatched away from them. If not for the turnovers from LeBron. Anyways, the point is that debate is out there. Somebody just got to take it. You gotta seize the moment. Don't let the opportunities pass you by. Right. I do think there are going to be moments in this game where things are tense and they're close. It'll be incumbent on the team with the greater mental strength to overcome that. That could easily be the Buckeyes today. I have no choice but to concede that. At the same time, it has been 4 years. At the same time, there is no one over there that can rally the troops and say, hey, this is how we get this done, except for your head coach who's, had his woes here recently too. So it's just it's a mental hurdle versus a personnel hurdle, I guess, if you're looking at it from Michigan's perspective. From the personnel perspective, you got to say damn that and go play football. From the mental perspective, you've got to find a way to hunker down and push through that, because it doesn't last forever, right? Unless you let it compound itself, unless you let you make mistakes, turn the ball over, not maximize on opportunities, kick field goals in the red zone instead of giving up touchdowns. That type of stuff will leave a team in the game. So those are the type of opportunities we're looking for today. And if they're able to fill in those gaps, we should have an interesting game in the second half.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're absolutely right about the mental toll that it's going to take on both teams. It's a rivalry game, so both team has an edge either way, no matter how you look at either team throughout the year. The mental toll that it's going to take on Ohio State is that they have a ton of pressure to finally beat Michigan after, the few years. Ryan Day has already said that this is, losing 3 times is one of the worst things that's happened in his life, and compared it to his father passing, which is, if that's true, then that means this is going to be an epic game, at least for him. Yeah. And so, there's a lot there's a lot here. There's a lot here. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, man. What are your keys to the game?
Terrified of Georgia.
Yeah, I was trying to just sneak it in there.
I just wanted them to lose. I would love to see them not in the playoffs, but
no. I love this. Terrified. I love that these games late in the season are happening to their upper echelon teams, because the argument we were starting to get from the SEC cheerleaders was that 10-2 here. Oh, that's not 10-2 everywhere.
Oh, I hate it.
It's just not. But then you get to going through the records, and the 2 be like Vanderbilt and Auburn. It'd be like South Carolina
and Arkansas.
I'm like, hold on, fam. Like, don't tell me it's not the same. And you've dropped games to the bottom half of your league. All of you. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, all of you. And those are all of them should be in the playoffs because their losses don't mean the same thing. I hate the deterioration of the win and loss. I don't care about a resume. I care about results on the field. Yep. Did you play the games? Did you win, or did you not? Because just as much as you're trying to explain to me that a 10-2 in the SEC is not a 10-2 at other places like the Big 12 or ACC, cool. Well, an 11-2, or excuse me, a 10-2 probably should have been 9-3. Georgia is not a 12-0 Georgia. It's just not.
Could have been 8-4.
And to Maniac's credit, I do think that they're a tough out. At the same time, they have laid some absolute duds for large periods of games, last night included,
and put some things on film.
Alabama game, another one. Like, I don't think that that's infinite. I don't think that you just have the ability to dig yourself out of whatever you've built in the first 4 quarters. It's amazing that they've been able to do it 3 times this season, but they still have 2 losses. So think about that. They've been able to pull themselves out of large deficits, or at least game-ending scenarios. I think Kentucky was one, Alabama, and then last night in Georgia, Georgia Tech, or at home, but against Georgia Tech. So 3 times you've been able to pull yourself out of that hole, and you still have 2 losses. This is not this. I don't think this is the same type of Georgia squad. They're extremely talented, right? They'll always be talented. They don't play like the teams that was led by Stetson Bennett. They don't have that same type of killer. They get down and they're able to get back because they have better guys most of the time. I don't have the same confidence in this team led by Carson Beck that I have had in years past with Stetson at the helm. It just don't feel the same. It doesn't look the same either, record wise. I mean, they are what they are. They're 10-2.
Not to mention the close game they had with Kentucky. Yeah, that's specifically why I'm not afraid of Georgia.
They played the toughest schedule.
They are Georgia. They are Georgia. I'm not stupid, but at the same time,
take a peek at Georgia's schedule here.
I'm not afraid of them. Like, if we have to play them, cool. I'm about giving my team the best advantage going into the playoffs. So if we can avoid Georgia, sweet. But I'm not afraid of them. Hello, go Buckeyes. We're going to smash Michigan today. LOL, and Georgia isn't any good. They can be beat. They can absolutely be beat. Georgia Tech almost did it.
Beat too, but we're going to take a look here, see how tough their schedule was. All right, so they opened up here. They beat Clemson 34-3, Tennessee Tech, and then they beat Kentucky 13-12. They lost to Alabama. That was a game that they gave up like 35 in the first half. Then they beat Auburn, but that was a tougher game than the schedule insists. Mississippi State, they blew out. They beat Texas. They beat Florida. They lost to Ole Miss.
They beat Texas. I can give them that credit.
They Tennessee, Massachusetts, and Georgia Tech. Okay, so Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas, Alabama. Yeah, that's 4 very good games, and then they beat Clemson to start the season. They've had a pretty good schedule. They have.
I mean, they were down to Florida at the half.
But my problem is the reason why the criticism sticks is because those big games are where they've competed the best, right? It's the 13-12 versus Kentucky. That's an issue. It's the giving up 35 to Alabama and a half that's concerning.
28 and a quarter.
You probably should have lost. How many teams clear a 14-point deficit in 4 minutes and then win in 8 overtimes? How many times does that happen? I'm saying they're probably a little bit more fortunate than they are good this year.
Why wouldn't a better team make you pay? Why wouldn't a better team make you pay? Why wouldn't a playoff team that's my point. Make you pay?
Play a different team, an unfamiliar team, not an Alabama, not a rival.
You play in Ohio State, we're going to make you pay. You play at Oregon,
the Buckeyes, but someone.
I said it.
Somebody.
I stamp it.
Yeah, somebody. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the fortunate thing is that they won last night, so they'll probably get in, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Sure. This was insane. I probably wouldn't put OSU in the top 10 teams if I had to rank them. Who are you putting in? Who are you putting in? What is this? Why? This is trolling. This is peak trolling. Top 10? Okay. What are we doing?
They're top 10 for sure. Top 5.
Anyway, okay. Did you watch the Minnesota-Wisconsin game?
No.
I was gonna say the first game I got to watch was
let me not totally dog them. Like I seen that Wisconsin was getting blown out. I laughed and then I turned away and I started watching the Colorado game.
Colorado
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and then that's a game that you also should have laughed at, but
what, that game against Oklahoma State? They blew them out.
That's my point.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what do you have on the Heisman race? What are you thinking, Genty or Hunter?
So the argument for Travis Hunter is that he plays both positions, right? Like he plays them pretty well, but Genty has just been on a absolute tear against anybody, right? And it's not just like he's playing the Mountain West schedule, so he just looks good compared to them. Like he looked good against Oregon, so I had to get it to him. And not only that, but against those Mountain West teams, it's not like he's coming away with 100 yards and a touchdown. Like he's fully dominating these teams.
I honestly think their competition levels are comparable if you're talking about Travis Hunter and Genty with the Mountain West, because most of the Pac-12 expats ended up in the Mountain West. So it's comparable. What I would hate for it to happen is, let's say Colorado gets into the playoffs, right? Travis Hunter wins the Heisman. they draw a card versus either a Big Ten or a SEC team, and then it looks a little different in terms of his deployment, in terms of what he's able to get off. I don't want to take it away from him because the boy's playing 150 snaps a game, and I think that's insane. Yeah. Like I think he's legitimately taking time off his NFL career to win this Heisman. Because I think snaps are snaps. You're a human being, so it just is what it is.
It's just going to take a toll no matter what.
Yeah, at some point it's going to catch up to him. But what he's doing is amazing. I wonder if he has to line up versus other 5-star corners and then cover another 5-star wide receiver on the other side. Like, that is not the talent level that they've run into. Now, it's impressive for the standpoint that he can put that level of output out. That level of production anywhere is impressive. And that's what has him in the Heisman conversation. He's a leader. He's the favorite. I would hate for him to win the Heisman, then draw a Georgia, draw a Penn State, draw a Oregon, Ohio State, and then it looks like a guy who has to play 150 snaps for his team to be competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you also factor in the fact that is Colorado going to be able to stand up in the trenches versus most other Power 5 teams that are going to meet in the playoffs? So then is it going to look the same outside for Travis or on offense or on defense? Right? They're not
maybe against a Penn State
on defense. He's got to cover longer. If they're not protecting up front, I can't throw to you deep. I wonder if it looks different versus other competition. With Genty, what he's done feels constant. You know, they're in a single back, 12 personnel, pro style offense, and they running the ball.
They just let him go.
Game. I feel like that's either going to go or it's not. 2,000 yards, and he's had 5 200-yard games. It feels a little bit more old school than Travis Hunter's. The numbers they don't pop off in terms of versatility, but damn, that's a lot of production. Damn, that's
like you said, very, very constant, very consistent.
Yeah.
Like you can count on Ashton Genty as long as he's not banged up. He's going to give you that yardage.
Then you talk about the difference, the Mountain West and the Big 12. Well, they went 10-1, right? Or they went 11-1. Went 11-1 in the Mountain West. Where they sit at 9-3 Big 12. So I don't know if that plays a factor that much in the Heisman nowadays, but I don't know, man. It's a coin flip for me. It's hard to call.
Boxing Maniac says Colorado not making the playoffs. I believe they're ranked 25th and don't think they will make the Big 12 championship.
Are they not in line for the Big 12 championship? Okay, damn.
I thought they were too, actually.
So that
BYU and
to me, it feels like a ding to me. Like Genty's competing in the postseason. You didn't even make your conference championship.
Arizona State.
Who is it?
Arizona State, and then probably either Iowa State or BYU. They play today, don't they? Iowa State plays somebody. Oh, they play Kansas State. Never mind.
Okay, so yeah, no, it's over. Damn. Yeah, so he's not going to play in the postseason at all, except for the bowl game.
Yeah.
That feels a way to me now. Now, if you're in your Heisman level impact didn't it lead to like conference championship level play, like maybe it's a personal beef. Maybe that's just a personal beef. I feel like I would lean Genty now. I was thinking Colorado had a chance to make their conference championship game. I didn't think that they were getting iced out.
Wait, hold on. The Big 12 championship game has yet to be decided. Entering the final week of the regular season. However, Colorado's win has helped paint a clearer picture leading into the bulk of action. 4 teams have 2 losses: Colorado, Arizona State, Iowa State, and BYU.
Okay.
So I guess they do still have a path. I don't know. The fact that it's a path and they're not like decided to play in the Big 12 championship kind of goes to that. So
yeah, man. I don't know how to call that, to be honest with you, but I would.
Travis does have the record for receiving touchdowns, which is also kind of insane. But at the same time, I'm still going Genty.
He's able to make impact plays on both sides of the ball consistently.
Yeah,
like he finds a way get a forced fumble, get an interception, pass breakups. Like he's just a all around impact player. I don't know if a team can decide that we're just not going to throw to Travis Hunter, if we have enough personnel to not throw at Travis Hunter, and then we can effectively cover him and take him out of the game on defense, then what? For Colorado, I mean, like obviously for him, it's going to be tough for sledding if depending on how you have to play him. I think that has to do a little bit with the personnel that they faced this year. I don't think that they faced anybody with that much personnel, and the teams that were competitive enough to do so, they beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not looking at a 12-0 Colorado team that ran all through the Big 12. They went 9-3, and they're hoping that chaos ensues so that they can make the conference championship game.
Yeah.
If they make the postseason, Travis. If they don't, I'm going Genty.
Yeah, Genty. I mean, Boise State would be literally undefeated if it wasn't for the fact that they faced the number one team in the nation, and even then he still got off. So again, it's just hard to discount that.
Yep.
Plus, I'd be afraid of playing him, and that's a team.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see him. I'm not saying I don't want to line up, versus. I'm just saying at full strength. Now we was full go, like Amir Hall is our third or fourth corner instead of starting. Okay, yeah, let's line up. Let's do that. Let's line up. We start with Will. We'll rotate guys, but we can shut that off. We can shut that faucet off. Now you go somewhere else one-on-one. There's not a lot of guys in the Big 12 that have the defensive guys to do that.
Yeah.
Not a lot. And again, the guys that did, and they won the game.
Sure. Okay. So as far as the actual game, I guess we talked about it a little bit. You want to leave that for the end, or do you want to dive into that now?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Give your keys. Rest of the Big 10 didn't even hear yet.
Okay. So again, I guess the biggest thing that I am afraid of in this case is the offensive line that I've said it multiple times, that we've Frankenstein together twice now. Obviously, as you mentioned earlier, the key to this game is probably going to be on the inside. So it's how those guys are going to look. As of late, I feel like Quinshawn hasn't been putting up the numbers that we've been accustomed to seeing from him. Travion's look like Travion, so I'm happy on that side. But it's really going to depend on that interior blocking, how the interior guys get it done, and from there how our rushing attack looks. Because we can't ultimately depend on Will Howard to Jeremiah Smith or Will Howard to Carnell Tate all game. So that's probably the biggest key to this game. From there, I don't want to downplay you guys' offense too much, but ultimately it's just limiting any possibility of any kind of big play, because we know that's been a thing that's plagued us in this game specifically for the last 3 years. And so that's what I'm looking for. Good play out of the DBs, even though there's not much that they have to control, but getting pressure on any quarterback, stopping any rushing attack. It's just good play, good solid play from the defense all around. Even though you feel like that's the weak point for Michigan, good solid defense all around to ensure that this game is a winnable game. That's basically it. Offensive line, good defensive play, good solid defensive play.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, man. I mean, it's I don't imagine it's going to be too complex what you're going to see, but it is going to be a brutal style, I believe, on both sides to start the game. They're going to be eager to try to establish themselves. 24 degrees, 30 minutes before kickoff, 35 minutes before kickoff, and we are at 24 degrees in Columbus. Sunny day, though. No precipitation. I think the wind is only about like 10, 11 miles. So nothing really, nothing but clear skies, but it's going to be cold. Hard turf. No grass. Turf. Hard as a rock. So we'll see how it goes, man. I think that the classic keys are what they are. You run the ball. You control the line of scrimmage. You control the time. You keep the other team's offense on the side of the on the sideline. You're gonna have a chance to win any game. You're gonna have a chance to win any game. I think there's enough on film for what works against Ohio State running wise. It's just gonna come down to who wants it more. who wants it more? Does Ohio State have it together? Are they going to go on this run similarly to what Michigan did last year? Not too similarly, because they were undefeated, but kind of similarly, like a baby version, like a diet Michigan. Mm-hmm. Can they do that? We'll see. That's crazy. You let me get all of that off. That's insane.
Because I was looking for. Okay, all right, that's cool. I didn't hear a word. I didn't hear a word for the last 2 minutes. I've been trying to piece things together here. Well, shout out to Boxing Maniac. I was also admiring this comment. I like to be a little impartial, but we're gonna stomp a mud hole in Michigan. I'll be honest. You're muted.
My bad. That man is a legend. Shout out to Connor Stallions.
Yikes. Okay. Yeah, Boxing Maniac, if you wanna, join, we just
throw it in there. Yes.
Yeah. Throw it in the I'm not gonna throw it in the chat.
Oh.
Then anybody can just be like, what up?
Well, then y'all work that out. I don't know how you're gonna figure it out right now. But yeah, yeah, that's what I got, man. Run the ball, play good defense, stop their run, which doesn't seem to be impossible over the last 3-4 weeks. I think that's very doable. You gotta hold it down, man. Gotta hold it down. You gotta play above the level that they've been at, their median level for the season. They have to get up for this game, and it just doesn't feel. I don't know why I'm not more nervous. I'm usually more nervous than this. That either tells me I know subconsciously it's going to go one way, or we're in for good news. We're in for a competitive game. But as down in the dumps as I should be, record-wise, how the season is gone, where these two teams are trajectory-wise, I think there's still enough there to be competitive. It's just who wants it more. That's what it always comes down to. Who wants this game more? Last 3 years, it's been Michigan. Will they make it 4?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
We'll see, man.
But yes, you're not feeling nervous because you already know what the
ending is. I already know it's about to go. I mean, I don't. Again, there have been years where I felt like it was a guaranteed ass whooping, and it felt still dreadful. I don't feel like this is a guaranteed ass whooping. I feel like this is going to be a competitive game. Now, there is going to be a time where Ohio State pedals down, right? They do what they do. They take their deep shots. They try to score fast, and they'll cut into a lead even if they're behind. So they'll never be completely out of the game, or at least mentally, they'll never teach it that way. They'll never go about the game that way, that they're out of it, because they have the chance to go quick strike. If by some chance Michigan is able to get ahead, you have to be able to withstand that. You got to be able to withstand that second win, that run. You get up in the first half, you get a lead, a possession and a half. We're talking 7-10 points. You take advantage of that. You hold them down and strangle them to death. Do not, figuratively, you two. We playing around. But yeah, hold them down. Don't let them off the mat like Georgia Tech did last night. Don't let them up. Finish it. Finish it when you have the chance. If you have the chance.
If you have the chance.
Well, when you have the chance.
But yes, that's why you don't feel nervous, because you're just like, all right, it's this year. And you also have this false hope in, the Bryce Underwood years being your years where you can come back and capitalize again.
Yeah, that was Bryce Underwood years. So I'm hoping, and we're talking to Michigan fans here, I'm hoping that we are not banking the next season, like following what we're going through this season. I hope we're not following that, expecting a true freshman to carry us to where we want to be, which is competing for the national championship again next year. I hope that's not the plan. Now, if he beats out some sizable competition, if he beats out a legitimate starter, if he shows that he can carry that weight as a true freshman, generational player. I don't want to be what Nebraska is this year with Dylan Raiola. I don't want to be what Florida is next year with DJ Lagway, and they got talent out their ears. I ain't trying to, oh yeah, what up, Mike Miniat? I'm not trying to be that. So get a legitimate guy in the portal, make him compete, and let's see how it goes out. I hope to God that the plan isn't boom, Bryce is the starter for the next 4 years. Fam, let's go out and roll the balls out and see how that plays out first.
Unless he's good enough.
If he's good enough, then he'll beat the guys out.
Right.
And if he does that, I'm impressed. But I don't want this to be it's his, so everybody else got to move. There have been a couple moves since, we've been on this venture now. Brady Hart is down at Texas A&M, which caught me out of left field. He's reclassifying. Can somebody help me understand how a 16-year-old is reclassifying and playing college football next year?
Yeah, that's crazy.
How the hell is that happening?
Yeah, I think he understood, or maybe Marcus, or maybe some offensive coordinator is not going to be there next year for Michigan. And that's the guy they recruited, right? Carter Smith and Brady Hart. So maybe they know something and they say, you know what? And plus, on top of that, you're going to have Bryce coming in, which is going to be almost by default that he's going to be the starter based on what Michigan paid for him, right? Now, hopefully that is not the mentality. It's like you have to earn that. I don't care how much we paid for you. If we got somebody else who's better, that's going to run the system better, then Bryce, you're going to have to take a seat. But we'll see how that plays out, right? That's a conversation for another day. Let's talk about in a half an hour. Let's talk about in a half an hour. Now, Josh, I'm going to tell you something. Josh, you my guy, man. I don't like Ohio State at all. But I mean, it's never personal, I just don't like them because, first of all, I'm a fan of you guys' channel. You guys is always cooking. Of course, Johnny's my brother as well. Absolutely. And you're a reasonable Ohio State fan, right? And the reason why I say that, because, and I'm being honest, it's a very cocky, entitled fan base, an arrogant fan base. Now, don't get me wrong.
I could be that too.
Y'all be honest.
But at least you do it. You do it with some swag. You do it respectfully. You don't do it trolling. Like, look, I'm gonna tell you. First of all, shout to my man Mello and his guy Dev. Me and Madman was on their podcast. They had some marathon going on yesterday.
Okay.
And we were there, and shout to them for giving us, the time on their platform. And it was good. Good show, good banter. But again, the mentality of most Buckeye fans is that you was only good because you knew all our plays. Guys, let's stop it. Look, I'm going to say something. I'm going to keep it real. Let's go to 2021, Josh. Mm-hmm. Your defense that year was one of the worst statistically. Statistically, that was one of the worst Ohio State defenses in years. So Michigan did to them what every team was doing to them, right? Mind you, you only had one loss going into that game, which was Oregon week 2. They ran for God knows how many yards. Michigan just did the same thing. How is that cheating? Everybody knew Michigan was going to run the ball. How is that cheating? You know what's coming. How is that cheating, right? Now, again, I'm not saying there's some gray area he kind of played with. I'm not going to sit here and act like that. But to say that he's the reason, right? He's the reason that Michigan won. He wasn't even there last season, right? Sure, so let's just talk about 21 and 22. So you're telling me that Michigan we knew every single play. First of all, that's impossible because the team doesn't run every single play. That's one in a game, right? They probably run 50 plays, and some of them are repeats. They just run different plays with the same sets. So Michigan Mind you, these 3 seasons, what was Michigan's identity, gentlemen? Smash Mouth, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knew that. Even your fan base, Josh.
Absolutely.
For JJ McCarthy, a handoff merchant. Who wants to go to Michigan to hand the ball off? So you admitting that you know what Michigan was. We was just a running team. The teams couldn't stop it. I think it's a coping mechanism for teams to say, you know what? Oh my God. I thought Michigan was more physical than us. No, Connor Stallions knew every single inch a player was going to go, which is impossible, guys. It's impossible to relay a play. Now, you telling me, Josh and Marcus, you guys, not only smart individuals, you guys know football. I listen to you guys talk. Every single game in football, high school, college, the pros, there's going to be more than 2, 3, 4 plays that the team is going to know. Sweep, whatever. So they know reverse is coming. So is that cheating? No, because you study film and you know based off sets. So this whole kind of Stallions is the reason, guys, we got to stop it already, right? He probably played a part, but to say that's the sole reason Michigan beat Ohio State, it's ludicrous. I ain't talking about the rapper.
I'll let you get ahead and respond, Josh, because I think that we started off, we were praising you, so I'll let you get in first.
So I'll be honest about the cheating thing. I do feel like I felt some way about it, at least as it came out. But as time went on, it started to become less of a thing that I was more so depending on it to counteract you guys' championship. And now at this point, like, your championship to me is solidified. And the only way I can get any kind of real get back is by winning the championship this year. And that's the main thing I've been focused on this year. Forget the cheating thing to me. I want the championship this year so I can wave that in you guys' face. That's the only legitimate way that I'm going to get any real get back to me. So it may be a thing. And if it does result in a hammer, great, cool, awesome. If it doesn't, though, I would much rather hang my hat on a championship than waiting on a hammer. It just doesn't. I don't care anymore. I did care about it for a while. Even Marcus knows I had an asterisk as my Twitter profile pic. But at this point, man, literally, I forget it. Focus on football. That's what I'm focused on.
The hammer is imaginary. Connor Stallions is a legend. If you honestly believe that this man stealing your signs on the the iPhone videos from fans in the stands was more effective than coaches meeting up every Sunday and trading game plans, then come with me, let me show you my beach house in Idaho. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hear none of that. As far as this game is concerned, it's always been about legacy, right? And so you're right. There are a lot of Ohio State fans, I think, that are taking the moment for granted. The narrative I've kind of been seeing online, if we storm the field after this win, so embarrassing. I would be embarrassed of this program. You haven't beaten your rival in 4 years, really. We didn't play 2020. We beat you the last 3. You ain't beating us in 4 years. You watch us go win a national championship. You beat us today. That should be your Christmas. But again, they take advantage of it. They take advantage of the moment. They think that this regular season constitutes what used to be for them. Like we're back now. Everything's back to normal. No, you have to do it. Ain't nothing. You have to finish it. You got to finish the job. I can only hope that some of that is permeated into the team. I can only hope that some of that is seeped into the walls of Woody, and they think it's already good. We just about to go here and mop them up. Let's go ahead and put our feet up until next weekend. We'll play in the Big Ten Championship. I hope they already in Indy. I hope they already there.
Job not done. Not done.
I hope they already there.
Job not done. I hear that.
Not done.
It's man. Look, let's not kid ourselves, man. I mean, with the exception of the D line, our D line versus your O line, that's the only place where we match up well with you guys. Everything else, you match up well, though. That's it. And mind you, your O line, the 2 games where we said, we don't know. They came, the Penn State game, they play well. The Indiana game, y'all play well. I got to tip my hat to your O-line. There's no excuses. Y'all came in next man up mentality. That's what it's about. They've been playing well. I can't say nothing about your O-line, right? But this is the game, really. Now, they're going to be really tested. This is it. If we can't wreak havoc, if our D-line can wreak havoc, then it's going to be a long day for Michigan, man. Sure. I just see it because your receivers are phenomenal. Y'all arguably all have the best wide receiver group in America, right? I don't think many argue that. And our secondary has been playing better, though. We've been much better, but there's no will out there. And you got Jeremiah Smith, who's a freak of nature, man. What a receiver. I mean, but since when Ohio State's been needing receivers, you guys just pump them out, like maternity wards.
It gets hard to fear wide receivers, at least from our perspective, because it's like, y'all had a wide receiver. That's it. Y'all had that. I think I would be much more down about our prospects if I felt like Ohio State was dominating people physically, or at least light competition physically. You know what I mean? They are very explosive on the outside, but they always have been. That doesn't feel like it changes the game plan for me. And that slight little bit that they've taken back in the running game, although they've been pass protecting very well, the slight back that they've taken back in the running game tells me that there's a slight gap there for success for Michigan. As small as it is, it exists. So they have to be able to exploit that. They got to.
Yeah, it's like, and plus, as far as the physicality goes, right? I will give Ohio State this, right? Let's look at the Penn State game. 2 great goal line stands, right? I mean, the interception by Iggy, that doesn't really happen. I'm talking about the second. I'm talking about that second goal line stand.
One where they had the offensive tackle at wide receiver.
You're stupid. But and mind you, we're talking about Penn State, who has 2 very good running backs, and they couldn't get in at home for 2 yards. I remember you guys stopping Nebraska on the 1 after interception. There you go, little man. I see ya. Yes, go blue. And it's good, Josh. You could watch. You could look. So, look, I think Ohio State, are they the most physical team I've seen this season? No. But are they more physical than the past years? Yes, I think so. So I'm expecting, your man, what's his name? What's your defensive coordinator's name?
Nose.
Nose is going to be Nose. He's going to be aggressive. They're going to want to pound Michigan to submission. And that could kind of be a mistake. I think they got to stay to their game plan. Take what Michigan gives you. Because now if you get aggressive for no reason, that 4-yard pass could go for 60. You break 1 tackle, and we seen that in 2022, right? Cornelius Johnson, he caught an 8-yard pass, took it 60 yards. We saw the Dawn, 2 late rushing touchdowns in the 4th quarter. So we'll see what happens, man. Our offensive line has to come to play. Hopefully, Sharon Moore's calling the plays.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to get off real quick is that, with the way that I've said it a million times, Frankenstein this offensive line, I will openly advocate for Justin Fry to keep his job if he can make this offensive line look good, not only in this game, but into the playoffs, and if he can get David Sanders to flip from Tennessee.
Yeah, that's not happening, dog.
If he can get that to happen, I will start the chance for Justin Fry to keep that job.
People want the free bags. They want the free bags in the hotel on Olentangy. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? They want their goodies. They want their Ohio State paraphernalia, and then they want the manila envelope that sits on the bed. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? They're not worried about nothing else but that. He you know what? I'll agree with you. If he flips David Sanders, the #1 offensive tackle in the country, If he does that, then yeah, he deserves to keep his job.
He's been earning it this season at least. Let's say that, right?
Sure.
You don't lose two major offensive linemen, man, and they haven't missed a beat. They haven't missed a beat. Yeah, so shout to him. You got to give credit where it's due. But look, man, I'm gonna say this. It's Michigan, Ohio State, man. There's no greater rivalry. I heard some Alabama fans, "Oh, you crazy, Auburn? Stop it! Ain't nobody want to watch that."
No.
Today,
nope.
Michigan, Ohio State will be the most watched football game today and tomorrow, pro. I promise you. By mile. So that tells you everything. And it's a noon game. Everybody will be up watching this, including Alabama and Auburn fans. Trust me. So look, man, we got about 15 minutes to kick off. I'm gonna let you gentlemen finish your show. Thanks for letting me get on, guys. Again, keep doing your thing. You guys
supporting.
You guys are excellent, man. Josh, listen, man. There's always an opportunity to come to the bright side, man. You need to leave that dark side. You need to be a born again Michigan fan.
Come to the good guys. You know what I'm saying?
The good guys.
Yeah,
that's the devil talking. That's
no,
evil.
No. Come to the good guys.
Evil.
If you look at the record, the all-time record, you will see clearly who the good guys are.
Well, eventually that's going to change over in our lifetime.
Good guys win, right? Good guys win. And if you look at the record, what are y'all down?
Look at the record. Eventually, that's going to change in our lifetime.
Are y'all down double digits?
No.
Y'all have to beat us for the next decade to cut the next 10.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Okay, well, show me. Show me.
All right. You wanna go through these rapid pace for the rest of the games in the Big Ten? Because literally everybody's playing. There's no bye weeks
played today. Oh, I was unaware.
Right. Yeah. I mean, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
All right. Illinois playing Northwestern at Northwestern. Illinois
at Northwestern. Yeah, Illinois.
Especially after seeing the way that you guys handled Northwestern, I just don't think
I got it.
Fresno State at UCLA.
Fresno State at UCLA.
It's a crazy game to have in November.
Yeah, give me Fresno State.
Okay.
Although UCLA has surprised me a couple times this season.
I'm saying
they won when they weren't supposed to. Give me Fresno State.
Okay. Rutgers versus Michigan State at Michigan State at East Lansing.
Give me Rutgers. Fuck little brother.
I was gonna say you're only saying that because of that, but okay. All right. Shout out to Greg Schiano. This one's going to be a good one, I think. Even though USC isn't playing to the level that they should have been playing this entire year, I think Notre Dame versus USC is always a good rivalry game.
Oh, for sure.
And Notre Dame has been
of success with the QB change to Jade Mayalva. We'll be sending Miller Moss onto happier trails somewhere. I don't know. Maybe he'll land softly. But yeah. They've been looking good. They've been looking good. It sure would be a hell of an upset, but I don't know if it would affect Notre Dame to the point that they'd be out of the playoffs. So it just kind of be like a personal, rivalry thing.
A 2-loss, no conference championship.
2-loss
Notre Dame
independent without conference champion. Yeah, I mean,
with one of the losses being Northern Illinois.
Oh, you're right. You gotta think about it. Georgia lurking out there with their 2 losses.
Yeah.
At least think about their schedule. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You are right. So yeah, a loss to USC right now would be it wouldn't be optimal. It's not a guarantee they'd be out, but it definitely wouldn't help.
Sure. Maryland versus Penn State. Maryland at Penn State. Penn State's got that.
Oh,
especially going
better. Yeah, let's finish this off right. Finish this off right so that what needs to happen happens, and then we can make a phone call, and then life changes on offense in Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
let's make it go Penn State. What's their chant? We are Penn State. I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but yeah,
crazy.
We're doing all of that. We're doing all
that.
I think
I would ever do a Penn State chant. That's insane.
Go Joe Pa.
All right, Purdue versus Indiana. Indiana also a win that they're going to take easily, and a win that they need to take easily because they're hoping to go into the playoffs.
They need to score. They need to win by 50. They need to win big. They need to win big because again, I think they're going to try and sneak in as many SEC teams as they can. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State are already solidified from the Big Ten side. Indiana needs to make sure that they put it on Purdue, which it shouldn't be too hard because Purdue's a dog shit program. So
facts.
Let's go.
And
Indiana.
Then finally, Washington versus Oregon. It's a rivalry game, so maybe Washington will play up a little bit, but
yeah.
I still have Oregon winning it.
What does it do? I don't feel like it helps the Big Ten for Washington to win tonight. I don't feel like it hurts Oregon to the point that they're not going to be out. It's really just going to affect teams down the line. So, like, if Oregon has to get bumped out of the number 1 spot, everybody slides down. So then the Big Ten might get 3 teams instead of 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of stuff we're talking about here. But it doesn't have the type of implications that it's going to completely kick a Big Ten team out, I don't think. Well, I think that's clearly what it would do if it went from 3 to 4. So maybe Indiana's life depends on Oregon,
an Oregon win,
beating the hell out of Washington tonight.
I think I would rather see a close game between these two. That way I know, like, okay, Oregon can bleed a little bit, which I've already seen with Wisconsin, but I think that's what I would rather see.
A team that was ascending more towards the end of the season than Ohio State, it would be Oregon, right? Because they've kind of been on this trail longer. They've been on it for a few more weeks, and I think they're a little bit healthier too. So
yeah, for sure.
It'll be Oregon and someone there in the Big Ten championship, but I don't think that they'll struggle tonight versus Washington.
Yeah,
they'll close out the season strong.
We'll definitely see. But yeah, I think it's ultimately going to be whoever takes them on in the Big Ten championship that's going to take them down.
We shall see. We shall see.
For sure. Yeah, no, obviously rooting for the Big Ten going into the playoffs. I definitely want to. I'd rather
we can help send James Franklin to the Big Ten championship. Is that who would go?
I'm sorry, what?
It would be James Franklin. They're 10-1, right? Or they're 11-1 or 10-1. They got to play today. They'd be 11-1.
Yeah.
So if we beat y'all, then James Franklin and Penn State would play.
Okay. Why does the scenario always involve something crazy?
Oh man, yes.
No. So first of all, we're not sending Penn State.
And then we'll be able to claim that the only reason why he got there is because he didn't have to play Michigan that year. Oh,
that's crazy. That is crazy. Already planning the trash talk behind a hypothetical that's not going to happen.
We need to make that happen. We need to make that a thing. Yep. That's our motivation. Sending James Franklin to his first Big Ten championship in 10 years.
And we both know it's not going to happen because there's no Will Johnson. There's no Colson Loveland. So,
okay. Well, I guess we'll see.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'd much rather see 4 Big Ten teams in the playoffs as opposed to 4 SEC teams, especially the SEC teams that either look like they haven't really played anybody in a Texas or the rest of the SEC who's got 2 losses. So much rather see our guys in there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I would definitely rather see 4 Big Ten teams. But then again, I feel like we're going to have to figure something out with how we decide who makes the Big Ten championship game. I think they're very fortunate that Ohio State beat Indiana and Penn State. Because if they lose a game to either one of them and not Oregon, it's a cluster.
It's chaos.
Cluster. It is a big cluster. So if you don't want to do divisions and you want to get even more convoluted and do pods, you got to figure something out to kind of streamline the games to be like, okay, there's a representative from this side, there's a representative from that side. If you don't do it that way, you're asking to have these years where you have multiple elite teams in the Big Ten and they play each other, but it's just a bunch of 1 losses. You're gonna have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, other conferences are dealing with that exact same thing too. So they're gonna have to figure it out for multiple conferences.
Yep.
Ultimately, a lot of conferences are like, okay, we have our number 1 clearly, but number 2 is like, oh, there's 3 different teams that it could be. It's just like, okay, we gotta clearly define this.
For sure.
Because then obviously the other thing is that it has clear playoff implications. So you definitely have to figure it out at that point. All right. Anything else we got to talk about?
That's it, man. We can go ahead. Mr. Layton, what's going on? We can go ahead and wrap it up so everybody can settle in before kickoff. We'll let you go early.
Yeah,
I know I want
the Buckeyes can go ahead and wrap this up.
Got some push-ups to do. Got some chest beating and screaming to do.
You got a red stripe to finish.
Ready. Yep, go hit a lap.
Got to get those nerves out.
I am ready.
I'm ready too. I'm excited.
Let's do this.
Make sure y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Obviously, like Readings by Dom said,
appreciate that.
We definitely enjoy that you guys are supporting the channel, especially like Boxing Maniac, guys like him. We appreciate you all. It's been a great season so far. Obviously, we still got championship games to go. We still got playoffs, so we'll still be here. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'm sure Johnny will be here for some future weeks as well. So make sure y'all join up. Any other thoughts before we go?
That's it, man. Appreciate you again. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week.
All right. Go Bucks.
Go Blue.
Go Bucks.